New tonight, Marquette Area Public Schools took its first steps to find a new school nickname. We first told you about the school board voting to remove the controversial Redmond and Redette nicknames last month. TV6's Clint McLeod shares what rebranding steps have already been taken and what a future timeline could look like.
The Marquette Area Public School Board discussed how it should proceed with rebranding at tonight's meeting. While no action was taken, some of the rebranding has already begun.
We updated our athletics website, our BSN Sports sideline store, and some JV freshman football uniforms, our varsity volleyball uniforms, and one of several dancing uniforms.
The board hopes to decide on a new nickname by the end of November. The board tabled official discussion of rebranding until its October 2nd meeting, but members did discuss what direction they want to go in.
I don't think that the name should reference any protected classes, i.e. race, gender, religion, etc. It should be inclusive, and that the names, the Redmond and the Redettes, cannot be considered.
During public comment, those who spoke shared desires to include student and public input in the new nickname, as well as concerns for rebranding costs.
This is not going to be very cheap. You're looking at thousands of dollars to do the rebranding.
Johnson says he does not agree with the board's decision to remove the previous nickname. Meanwhile, two Native American tribe representatives spoke about funding options.
From the Sault Ste. Marie tribe, we are reaching out to the Marquette Area Public Schools Board, and we're offering $30,000, no strings attached, just for the rebranding purposes.
LaPlante and Keweenaw Bay Indian Council member Rodney Loonsfoot told the school board they could apply for additional funding with their tribes, as well as the Native American Heritage Fund, to help alleviate costs. Clint McLeod, TV6 News, Marquette.
Thank you, Clint. And the board welcomes public suggestions for a new nickname. One suggested at the meeting tonight was the Marquette Mariners.